Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the third episode of the Sibs podcast. I'm your host, Ashlyn, and I'm joined by my brother and co-host, Caden. Here we talk about anything and everything related to Disney. From Walt Disney World to Star Wars to Marvel, we are the podcast for it all. Thank you for taking a chance with us. If you have any ideas for future episodes, list them in the comments or contact us through our email, which is in the description. If you're enjoying our content, please like and subscribe. We apologize for this video being posted late as we were having technical difficulties. Today we are going to cover some news that happened during the week from Disney, as well as talking about the attractions at the Magic Kingdom. If you're interested in learning more about any of the news topics that are discussed on today's episode, we will have links in the description below. Kaden, why don't you kick off our news update for the week?
Yep, so not much in Walt Disney World this week. The first thing is Christmas decorations are going up in the parks. We saw a quick transformation overnight where they started setting up, and as the days go by, it seems that there's more and more decorations in the parks.
Going along with the theme of Christmas and the holidays, the giant gingerbread houses are starting to be put together at the Grand Floridian Resort.
Going over to Hollywood Studios, Fantasmic returns for the first time in 2.5 years.
It's about time.
It's been forever.
It's finally back after being shut down and under refurbishment. Fantasmic is finally returned.
Yes, and with the returning of that, there are a few new scenes in it. Just updated scenes with a couple of new characters.
From the Fantasmic area, still sticking in Hollywood Studios, we're going to jump over to Galaxy's Edge, where the First Order mini shows have now returned.
Yeah, and still sticking in Hollywood Studios, but going to Toy Story Land this time. The Green Army Men are returning, as well as character meet and greets. So you'll be able to see the Green Army Men walking around Toy Story Land, as well as, meet and greet with Jessie, Woody, Buzz, all of your favorite Toy Story characters.
I'm surprised they waited this long, but I am glad to see that they're
better late than never.
That they're starting to bring back all these character interactions back to Hollywood Studios.
All right, so that is it for Walt Disney World. Going over to Disneyland, however, there's a new Daisy Duck headband available for $29.99. So if you're into collecting headbands, that's one for you to check out over at Anaheim, California.
And now we're going to head over to Shop Disney, where they have added a ton of new Christmas items.
A lot. A wide variety for everything that you might need.
So if you guys
for the holidays.
If you guys haven't done your Christmas shopping yet, or you're not finished with it yet, now would be a good time to start. Maybe check out Shop Disney, see what they have.
And something else that we're seeing on Shop Disney is something new that Disney is doing with Disney Plus items, which is where there's these items that are
only available for people who have a Disney Plus account.
Yes. And you can pre-order them, and they're limited release for that reason. Some of the things that came out for Disney Plus release, we saw a couple of lightsabers, legacy lightsabers on Shop Disney. One of which is a collector's box of the Ahsoka Tano Rebels lightsabers, which we saw back in May for Star Wars Day. They brought those back for a limited release, which they are sold out, as well as a Mustafar themed box with Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker's lightsabers as well, and that is also sold out. The only other lightsaber still available on Shop Disney that isn't sold out as of the time of recording this is the Dark Saber for $250. So if you're interested, we'll have a link in the description of this video for Shop Disney.
Sticking along with the theme of lightsabers, both Qui-Gon Jinn's and Count Dooku's legacy lightsabers are sold out on Shop Disney. So the lightsabers we brought up in our last episode, they are both sold out as of right now.
Yep, so they were on pre-order. The Qui-Gon Jinn legacy lightsaber was actually out of stock the day that we posted last episode. So it's been out for a little while, and Count Dooku's is just recently sold out. So hopefully we'll be getting those around mid-December. And when we get them, I personally purchased the Count Dooku's Legacy lightsaber. So I'll let you guys know in that episode when I get it.
And sticking with the theme of things that are new but already sold out, Disney released a new 50th anniversary Tower of Terror Funko Pop with Bellhop Mickey. It was available for pre-order, but as I said, it is already sold out. Just goes to show you that as soon as they release something limited edition, you have to jump on it right away to try and get a chance to get one, because they're going to go as soon as they get released.
Yeah, and honestly, I hope they keep going with this theme that they're doing with different Funko Pops, because I kind of like it with the different attractions,
I
which
hope they
fits
do
really
more.
well into this episode actually. But
Yeah, I hope they do more attraction Funko Pops. They're cool to look at, and they're also good collectibles too. So if you guys are Funko Pop collectors, these are going to be some good additions to your collection if you are able to snag one before they're gone.
so the last piece of news that we have for you guys today is new Black Panther merch available on Shop Disney. They did a really good job with this, I will say. We'll have a link in the description below that will take you to the new Black Panther merch.
And speaking of Black Panther, the release date for Black Panther Wakanda Forever is this Friday, November 11th.
I'm so excited for it. Like, this is so exciting. It feels like we've been waiting forever for the next Black Panther.
Yeah, it does. And it's finally coming out.
Finally. So we'll have to let you guys know how it is, because I'm sure we will be seeing it in theaters, or at least I'm going to go see it in theaters. Not wait for it to come on Disney Plus.
We've already waited long enough.
All right, and that concludes the news portion of today's episode.
And just a reminder, we are doing the weekly news sections every episode we do to keep you guys updated weekly with everything that's happening with Disney. And without further ado, we are going to head on to our main topic of discussion for today, which is the Magic Kingdom attractions. We're going to be going through each land, listing all of the attractions, saying what we think of them, and then also choosing our favorite attraction from each land.
Yep, so our first land we're going to starting off with is Adventureland. So in Adventureland, there are 3 attractions. The first one is Jungle Cruise. Ashlyn, what are your thoughts on Jungle Cruise?
I love Jungle Cruise. It's a longer duration than some other ones. The skippers make their own scripts, so it's always funny, and you never know what you're going to get. Because each skipper makes their own, each one is different. They're each going to have different jokes and different funny comments and everything.
Yeah, I agree. And I think too, like the queue portion of the ride just adds to it. And our family's really big on the queue music.
This is one of the best queue loops that Disney has.
Next up on the list is the Magic Carpets. Ashlyn, what are your thoughts on the Magic Carpets?
I like the Magic Carpets. Yes, there are a lot of not a lot, but there are a few attractions with the same style as this one, where you're in a car and then you go up on an arm, the arm raises you up while the whole thing spins in a circle. But the Magic Carpets do have a couple different details that the other ones don't. First of all, yes, you can go up and down like the other ones, but if you press the button, if you're sitting in the back seat, then it rocks a little bit, so it makes you feel like you're more in the movie, actually flying on a magic carpet if it's rocking while you're going up and down. And then you have the camel,
That'll spit you.
which spits. And it always gets you by surprise. You never know when it's going to spit. I remember there was one time we were there for the Halloween party, and we decided to go on magic carpets. And it was you, me, and one of our sisters. And we were at just the right height where the camel spit, and it went right in my ear.
Good times. And just to elaborate, I agree with everything that you just said. You know, I like to ride it and all, but just to elaborate on something else that you slightly mentioned, was that there's a lot of rides like this where, you know, you're going in the circle and whatever. And for that reason, that makes me dislike this. Like, that's one reason to dislike this ride. You know, you just in the Magic Kingdom, you have 3 like this, and then you have 1 in the Animal Kingdom. I just think, you know, they could have done something a little bit more unique.
Mm-hmm. But also, this is a ride that's little kid friendly, which is a reason why I think they have so many of them. Is
Yeah,
because it's an easy ride to get little kids on, and it's not like
it doesn't take up that
there's
much
a height
space.
requirement and everything.
It's not that big of a downside, but that is the only reason that I dislike this ride, if I had to come up with a reason. All right, the third and final attraction in Adventureland, Pirates of the Caribbean. Now, personally, I love this ride, and it might have something to do with the fact that I am a big fan of all the movies. But you know, it's just one of those that there's a lot of detail, and you can just keep riding it over and over again, and you'll see something new every time that you missed before.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. Pirates is such a classic, and we always go on it. And it's just nice to, when you're walking around. I mean, Jungle Cruise is a boat ride as well, but Pirates, you just sit back and relax and watch the scenery as you go by, minus the part when you go down the drop.
A
After
little bit of
that,
a thrill.
then it's relaxing. It's a cool ride because you're surrounded by water and it's dark. It's very dark. But I love the scenery. Yes, I'm also a huge fan of the movies as well, which is another reason why I love this attraction so much. But it is a very, very good ride.
And a little bonus, if you go down during Halloween, there's a couple surprises that are added in as well. Don't want to say too much
Yes.
about it, but
Yes, this is
it's
one
a
of the attractions that does get the Halloween overlay during the party season.
all right. I think that concludes Adventureland. Ashlyn, what is your favorite attraction in Adventureland?
I'm gonna go with Pirates. I love Jungle Cruise, yes, and you never know what you're gonna expect. But at the same time, Pirates just has a special spot in my heart. So I'm gonna go with Pirates of the Caribbean for this one.
And I'm going to agree with that. Jungle Cruise is a very close second, but Pirates of the Caribbean for sure.
And Magic Carpets is okay. Like
Yeah,
I'll wait in line to go on it, but
yeah.
it doesn't come close to Jungle Cruise or Pirates. We're going to head on over to the Wild Wild West, also known as Frontierland. First attraction on our list, Splash Mountain. Caden, what do you think about Splash Mountain? From what we know, because we've never been on this ride. Whenever we've gone, it's either been closed for refurbishment or it's been way too cold to get drenched.
Yeah, so I would like to go on it. Maybe we'll go on it next time we go down. Just to just to go on it because we need to go on it. But I like the concept of it. You know, definitely is a longer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's getting a new theme, and it's going to get a Princess and the Frog theme where you're going around the bayou. Ashley, what do you think about the new theme?
I think if done well, it could be a big hit. Me personally, I think that Pocahontas would be a better fit for it because Pocahontas is very adventurous and outgoing. And in the movie, you see her going down waterfalls and going through the rapid parts of the rivers in her boat.
Yeah,
So
going
I feel
around
like the
just around the
drop,
river bend.
yeah, I feel like the drop would make more sense with Pocahontas because they're not changing the structure of the attraction at all. They're just changing the theming of it.
It'll be interesting to see how long it takes.
It'll be interesting to see when they start it, how long it takes, and how it turns out. I mean, going in with an open mind, just saying that I think maybe Pocahontas would be a better idea, but we don't know what it's going to look like until they actually do it. So I'm not going to really say that I like the idea or I don't until we actually see what they do with it.
Yeah, that's what I think it's going to come down to. Is we just need to wait,
Mm-hmm.
and if and when we get updates, we will let you guys know the updates as we're getting them.
Next attraction, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
I like this one. They do a really good job theming. It's not an extreme roller coaster. It's,
It's a more of a beginner roller coaster, but it's still a lot of fun when you're going on the runaway mine train. I like the theming of the attraction. A lot of detail went into it, and this is one that I've always enjoyed going on, and I always want to go on whenever we go down at least once.
and I think too, they were, Disney was creative coming up with the 2 tracks.
Helps the line move a little bit quicker, makes the wait seem not as long.
But it can still rack up a pretty long wait.
Oh, yeah. This is one of the attractions that if there's a thunderstorm coming and there's lightning in the area, then it will close because it is the outdoor roller coaster and it's a mountain and it's a tall attraction. So, just for safety precautions, this is one of the attractions that they do close when those big storms are in the area. All right, Caden,
Yes.
what is your favorite attraction from Frontierland?
Seeing so we have never been on Splash Mountain, I'm going to go with Big Thunder. The reason? We've never been on Splash Mountain.
Same here.
And I think like Frontierland as a whole, there's a lot of theming. So there may only be 2 attractions, but
Each land, Disney does a very good job with theming in general, from, each attraction to the land that they're in or the area that they're in. They do a really good job of keeping the theming consistent and adding a whole ton of details that you would never think of. And we see that throughout the parks and the resorts,
yep.
which is nice. It's a lot of details you wouldn't think of that you notice that they thought of and were like, hey, we should do this.
All right. Next is Liberty Square. So, first up, Haunted Mansion.
Such a classic. Haunted Mansion, oh my gosh, don't get me started. We go on it every time. We always go on it more than once, for
It's
starters.
such a good ride.
And the fact that they have an interactive queue, because the line for Haunted Mansion can get very long,
Really long.
very quickly. So the fact that they have the option for the interactive queue to make the wait seem not as long, you can read the tombstones as you're walking past, because each of them has their own little story of how the person died on it. So those are fun to look for. Just looking at the outside of the attraction in general, again, this is another one where there's so much detail in it. And when you reach the doors and you go in to a haunted room that is actually stretching, that has no windows and no doors, and you're looking around at the portraits and everything, and you get out and you start walking down this long, dark, creepy hallway, the attention to the detail is immaculate, like all of the dust and the cobwebs and everything. And then the actual ride itself, going through, especially the ballroom. The ballroom is one of my favorite parts of the ride. From all of the dancers to the portraits and everything, like you can never see every detail going through. Like you always find something different.
Just like on Pirates of the Caribbean, there's just so much detail.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take it all in the amount of time that you have to look at it.
Yeah, this is definitely one where you have to go on more than once to try and catch everything, especially in the attic with the bride, and you're looking through and you can see that there's portraits of all of her husbands, and you can see that in each portrait, like she has another strand of pearls to represent that she's gotten wealthier and wealthier from each marriage. And then when you're going through the graveyard, when all the grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize, there's just so much to look at. You can never see everything. So it's one that you always go back to.
And just to point out, like, our family is huge fans of this ride, so much so that one of our pets is actually named after Master Gracie. That just goes to show how much we enjoy this attraction.
Yeah, we do love this one.
Second last final ride in Liberty Square is the Liberty Square Riverboat.
I like it. It's nice.
Not much to say about it.
Yeah, you're going in a little boat ride in the big boat around Tom Sawyer's Island with the narration going and some little scenes along the way. It's relaxing. If you're near the boiler room and stuff, then it's loud, but if you're like above like the upper deck or you're towards the railing away from it, then it's not as loud. We've been on this a couple times.
You also get a good view of Big Thunder.
And they do have little scenes placed in the trees and shrubbery too that you can only see from the boat. Like you can't see them when you're walking through because the trees and everything is so dense that they have the areas that they do have like the little scenes and stuff like they're carved out.
And I'm sure it does get busy, but all the times that we've been on it, it doesn't seem to be too busy.
Plus it can fit a lot of people.
Yeah. It's definitely pretty big. All right, and we are not going to say our favorite because there's really no point in it.
They're so different from each other. One of them is a boat ride, the other one is
you going through a haunted mansion
in a doom buggy where a ghost may follow you home. Pretty sure they don't say anything will follow you home on Liberty Square Riverboat.
Maybe I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. I don't think they do.
They each have their own perks, and yeah, this one we can't really say a favorite, just for the sole fact that they are so different. Now we're going to wander over to Fantasyland, where a good portion of the attractions are located. Starting off our list is Small World.
Yeah, it's just a nice little boat type ride where you're going around and seeing all the different cultures, and the music is the best part about this attraction. And there's a lot of animatronics and there's a lot to look at.
I like looking at all the outfits and how each outfit is like each doll is dressed differently in the different cultures, and I really like seeing like the drastic differences that there are. It's just it is a shorter ride that does get a super super long wait, but it is a good one. There's just so much to look at. I like looking at, like I said, the clothing, like listening to the music, like seeing the different cultures and seeing like the different ways that they represent the different cultures. And
I think they do a really good job with that.
And another thing too is that there's the restaurant right next to it where if you're sitting by the window at one of the tables, you can look in and see part of the attraction.
And since Ashlyn mentioned that she likes the costumes so much, and I, like the costumes so much, it's probably worth mentioning that on November 4th, Alice Davis, who is the head designer for all of these costumes, as well as being behind the scenes on many iconic Disney films, passed away at 93.
Wow.
So she definitely had an impact on Disney and Disneyland, because she also did the fashion design for Pirates of the Caribbean as well.
She did a lot. She left behind
She's a legend.
A legacy in Disney. She's very accomplished. So overall, Small World, great attraction, and the woman who designed the clothing and everything, she was amazing.
She did a phenomenal job.
And with that, we are going to hop over to Peter Pan's Flight.
When I think of Peter Pan's Flight, I think of long wait time. That's pretty much the only thing I think about.
Yeah, that's the first thing that comes into mind. It always has a long wait time.
Because it's such a slow-moving ride. I mean, it's a good ride, don't get me wrong.
And it never really stops either.
You're flying over London and going to Neverland.
I enjoy it. I like the fact that you can see when you get on your ship and they use pixie dust to lower the bar. You can
Disney
see
magic.
you can see when the track ends and you're quote flying. Like, I just think it's so cool, and how you start off in the bedroom where everything starts. Everything starts in Wendy, Michael, and John's bedroom, and then from there you start going on your journey. So you get to
Go on the
kind
journey with them.
yeah, kind of in a way like follow their footsteps on their journey that they took and go along for the ride with them.
Yeah, so overall, not much to say about it.
I like the theming. It's a good ride,
Yeah.
but it seems to always have a
Usually
long
it's
wait
not
time.
worth the wait. Usually.
Yeah, you may as well just go straight to one of the other attractions, such as Prince Charming's Regal Carousel. Personally, one of my favorite attractions ever since I was little.
It's a simple attraction, but it's definitely a favorite amongst the fans.
Yeah. Yes, there are carousels everywhere, but there are no carousels like this one. This carousel tells a story. If you're standing in line waiting as the carousel is spinning, there's pictures at the top of it showing different moments of time in Cinderella's story. So you can see her story play out as you're waiting, which is really cool for starters. And second of all, they do have Cinderella's horse on the carousel.
You know, something probably worth mentioning is it never really has a long wait time.
No, because it can hold so many people and it's constantly going.
It's in the middle of Fantasyland. The only time a line really builds up is in between runs.
Yeah, but there are so many horses on it. It's so big that you're going to get on within a couple runs of it. But yes, this one has always been a personal favorite for me, and I always try and get on Cinderella's horse. That's my favorite
Gotta stick
one.
with the classics.
Exactly. Next up on our list is The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh.
Nice little bouncy fun ride.
I really like this one a lot. This one is, again, another one that's high up on my list of favorite attractions. I love the fact that, first of all, you're in this honey pot and you're going around, but then you're bouncing with Tigger and your honey pot actually bounces. And then when the rain comes down, 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 and everything floods, it feels like you're floating along. Even though it is a track ride, the way that it's designed, it feels like you're floating along the river.
Yeah.
And the section with the Heffalumps and Woozles is just super fun and quirky.
Yeah, and it seems, and it's geared towards little ones, but hey, we can enjoy it too.
We're all children. Growing old is mandatory, but growing up is optional.
It's true.
Walt Disney. I live by that quote.
Nice little quote for you guys. Not the quote of the week.
No, not the quote of the week, just one that we added in.
We live by.
So overall, Winnie the Pooh, I love it. It's a great one. I totally think that waiting in line for this one is worth it, even if it is a little bit of a longer wait. No, it's just a fun, bubbly ride.
It's got a fun little play area for the little kids as well.
All right, now this next attraction may not be well suited for everybody. The Mad Tea Party.
For those of you who don't know, you are going in a circle, in a circle, in a circle, in a circle.
You get in this teacup, and in the center of this teacup, there is a silver wheel right in the center. It's like a little table, but you spin it, and it makes your teacup spin. While your teacup is spinning,
you're on a platter.
You're on a platter that's spinning. And while the platter is spinning, you're on a huge base for all of the teacups and platters that's spinning.
It's a lot of spinning. And
with spinning your own teacup, you can control the speed of your teacup.
Yep.
So if you're like us, as soon as the ride starts and you full on send it, you will go flying.
You go pretty fast. There's garbage cans nearby. You'll be fine.
I always enjoy this one too. This is another attraction, by the way, that gets a Halloween overlay as well.
Yeah, nice little spooky.
Spooky lights, spooky music. No, overall, I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I did too.
But like I said, it may not be for everybody because of the fact that you're spinning in circles and it can go really fast. So it may make some people sick.
To say the least.
But overall, good attraction.
I agree.
Next up, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
This is the newest attraction in the Magic Kingdom until Tron obviously opens.
Mm-hmm.
I like this one. I really do.
Mm-hmm. The
It's
theming,
fun. It has really
yeah.
good themes.
Yeah, the theming is really good.
The queue is really well themed. Lots to do in there to pass the time away.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does get a long wait. But in
Yeah,
my
this
opinion, it's
is,
definitely worth it.
yeah, and the way it starts out, it's not like a regular roller coaster, not a regular roller coaster, but like a typical roller coaster where, you know, you go down a little hill and then you have this big incline that you have to go up to get to the actual part of the coaster. This one drops right away. You get in line, you get to the gates, you get in your barrel, and as soon as they push the button to start the ride, you go forward like a couple few feet and you drop
Then you go down.
and you go down around a corner. So I always find that exhilarating that it just starts right away. And then, yes, there is the big incline once you go through the mine. And as you're going up, I love the fact that they have the silhouettes of the dwarves marching along the wall as you're going up. And then at the ends, they have the cottage with the evil queen disguised as the old hag or the old witch outside the window.
Yeah, and I think too, going back to In the Mine, Disney definitely did a really good job with that. A lot of shiny things in there.
Mm-hmm. And it's a nice little relaxing part before you go back to the, you know, crazy downhill, twisty, turny
It's a
parts.
slower part of the attraction.
It's got a lot of variety in terms of speed.
For sure, yeah.
Journey of the Little Mermaid.
I like it. And the reason, probably the most reason I like it is, it's unique. And the fact that in Magic Kingdom, there isn't much like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I like the way that they designed the exterior of it and also the interior part of it. When you're in your clamshell, I like the beginning when Sebastian is telling you to keep your hands, feet, flippers, and fins inside your clamshell. And as you go, you start going down. You start going down a small slope, and you can feel the temperature drop a little bit. And with the way that they have the lights and colors shining on the wall, it looks like you're actually going underwater. And it's just very animated, especially when when you're in the scene where they're singing under the sea. There's so many animatronics and so many bright colors, and it's just
There's a lot going on. And
a lot. Yeah, there's a lot going on, and it's a very fun section of the ride.
I agree. I like it.
Dumbo the Flying Elephant. Now, this one is one of the ones that it's the style like the magic carpets where you're in a car that gets raised up on an arm. This one, however, it's the same attraction, they just have two separate rides, but it's the same thing. Like Big Thunder has two tracks. This one has two separate places.
Yeah, another thing that makes this one unique is the play area.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, that nothing really
And it doesn't have
exciting.
anything that spits at you like magic carpets. So overall, Dumbo's a good ride in the fact that they do have two separate attractions for it. Makes the wait time go a little bit better, like helps keep the line down a little bit, and the fact that they have that playroom waiting area. I mean, overall, it's okay. I mean, it's fun, but like I said,
It's very similar to Magic Carpet.
mm-hmm. All right, and the last attraction on our list
And
for
quite possibly the worst in all of Magic Kingdom.
for Fantasyland is the Barnstormer. We went on this ride once, and we will never be going on it again. We went on it one time to say that we went on it, and it wasn't even 30 seconds long.
It was
It
like
sucked.
10 seconds long, if that.
And the wait line, oh my gosh, the wait was so long for it. I mean, it's a roller coaster for little kids. It's like, yeah, like 10 seconds long.
Just to put in perspective on how short it is, there's only 2 cars for it.
I'm not going on it again.
I'm not going on it again either.
Right. That one, Barnstormer. Simple, quick,
Done.
done.
End of story.
Never going on it again. All right, that was everything for Fantasyland. So, Caden, what is your favorite attraction in Fantasyland?
My favorite attraction is gonna have to be Small World. I think it's a classic. There's a lot to see. The music is fun. The animatronics are fun. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm going between the carousel and Winnie the Pooh because the carousel, as I said before, is a classic, a personal classic for me, but so is Winnie the Pooh. So those two are tied for first for me. I mean, there are a lot of great attractions in Fantasyland in general, but these two just stick out a little bit more for me.
All right, and last but not least, Tomorrowland. So first up, another one that we have not been on, Tomorrowland Speedway. Not much to say about it. It's definitely one of those just to go on once just to say we've been on it,
Mm-hmm.
but not that good.
The smell of gasoline
When you're trying to eat food,
at
just
Cosmic Rays, it's
doesn't work.
yeah, it doesn't work sitting outside. Sitting inside, you can't smell it, but the outside seating for that restaurant is right by the speedway, and it's so loud.
Yeah.
So yes, would like to go on it once just to say we've been on it, just to see what it's like, but probably won't go on it again after that.
But I know what it's like to drive a car, so
Do you know what it's like to drive a car on the speedway?
no.
And there you go.
Okay. All right. Next, Space Mountain. I like this one. It's a roller coaster. It's not very intense, but what makes it intense is that it's pitch black.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it.
So do I. It's a nice little roller coaster. You're sitting single file in these cars. The cars aren't very big. And if you're sitting in the front seat, then you can kind of sort of tell what's coming up. But yeah, it is very dark, so you don't know what's coming. So you get, tossed around a little bit, which adds to the excitement. And I also really like the soundtrack for this ride. And Space Mountain is another one that does get the Halloween overlay.
Yeah, and I like the exiting queue. It's long because you have to walk all the way out, but it's very detailed and not just a hallway.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger Spin. What are your thoughts on it, Ashlyn?
I mean, I like it. I'll go on it. It's different from Toy Story Mania, which I like better than this one, but
Yeah, Toy Story Mania is more of an arcade game, whereas this is has a storyline.
yeah, I like the fact that it follows a storyline and you're helping Buzz Lightyear and the aliens out. And overall, it's good. but the next two on this list I like way more.
All right, so I guess we'll go into those. The next one on this list is Tomorrowland Transit Authority, or TTA, or People Mover. I think those are the only names for it. I love this ride.
Same here.
You
Go
get to
on it
go
over and over and over again.
see a lot of, the whole Tomorrowland. If you're on it at night, then you can see the castle all lit up. You can watch the people.
As it says in the narration, it's a great place to go people watching. I love just sitting up there and going around, seeing everything, looking down, and it's a great place to be like, oh my gosh, look, there's that character over there. Or look, you can see this from over here. And I like the fact that it does go through Space Mountain. That's one of my favorite
It
parts
goes through
about it.
Space Mountain. You can see Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger spin. It goes around
It goes right around Carousel of
Carousel of
Progress,
Progress.
right
Yep,
around the outside of it. Like you could almost reach out and touch the wall for it. It's that close.
yep. All right, and the next ride is Carousel of Progress. I love this one.
This is
You
another
love
one
this
that I
one.
love.
We all love this one.
Our whole family does.
Yeah. You are watching this family as advancements are made,
With technology and everything.
advances.
I like the fact that each scene, there's 4 scenes. Well, there's the introduction area, and then there's the 4 scenes. And like each scene is a different season. So you get to go through them, and their advancing technology is like electric lights, no more kerosene, no
No
more
more
gas.
gas.
This attraction, oh my gosh. Our family, we will quote it and we will reference it just in general. Like
Yep, day-to-day
anytime.
life. Yep, I like it. I love it. All right, and the final attraction in Tomorrowland is Astro Orbiter.
This one we've never been on, but
I don't have any
I
intentions on going on it
I
personally.
personally would like to go on it once just to say I've been on it.
Yeah, and I guess you could go on it just, see the view from up way up.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise that, not much to say about it. All right, Ashlyn, what is your favorite attraction in Tomorrowland?
This is another one where I'm going to say that there's going to be 2 competing for that top spot. I'm going to say the People Mover and Carousel of Progress. Depending on the day and depending on what mood I'm in, those 2 are the ones that are competing for spot number 1.
And for me, I'm going to have to go with TTA. It's,
You can ride it over and over and
yep.
over again.
All right, and that wraps up the whole list of Magic Kingdom attractions.
All right, and moving on to the other thing that we are going to be doing weekly, our sibling group of the week and quote of the week. And this week's sibling group of the week was actually suggested by one of our listeners. So if you guys have a favorite sibling group and you want us to feature them in an upcoming episode, feel free to put it in the comments below or email it to us and we'll take a look at it. So without further ado, our sibling group of the week, sibling duo of the week, Lilo and Nani from Disney's Lilo and Stitch.
I like this sibling group because the other ones that we've talked about so far, like, there's like this rivalry going on. But in this instance, the older sister, Nani, is, trying to take, the parents' place
Mm-hmm.
and trying to raise Lilo. And Lilo is definitely not
The easiest child
easiest.
in the
Yeah.
world. She's very moody, definitely has an attitude. But yeah, Nani is trying to do so much. She's trying to play the role of big sister, trying to fill in the parent guardian role. She's trying to keep the house from burning down.
She's trying to keep a job. She's trying to.
Yeah, and then on top of all of that, then you have Mr. Bubbles, the social worker, coming in and saying that if things don't improve, then they're going to take Lilo away from her. And Lilo is the only family that she has left.
Yeah, definitely a lot to.
There's a lot more.
There's a lot going on.
Emotions and depth to this sibling group than ones that we've talked about previously.
And with that, we are going to move on to the quote of the week from Lilo and Stitch. Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind
or forgotten.
Said by Stitch.
This quote is so short, it's so simple, but it has such a deep meaning.
It's so meaningful.
Like, family is everything, especially like if you have a family. Like, your family is always there for you. They're always there to support you, and they always have your backs. So this quote is like the base for every family. Very meaningful, very deep. And you don't even need to say the whole thing either. You can just say Ohana. And if you know Lilo and Stitch, then you know Ohana means family.
And then you know what? And then you know that family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. So, overall, great quote.
Great quote, great movie. 10 out of 10 would watch it.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for listening to episode 3 of the Disibs podcast. I can't believe we are already here. We are enjoying this so much. And we hope that you guys enjoy listening to them as well.
Enjoy listening to them as much as we enjoy making them for you guys.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun for us. If you have any suggestions, you can always comment down below or contact us at our email, which is listed in the description below. Remember that also in the description is all of the links to articles that we talked about, as well as all of the Shop Disney items that we talked about as well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.